Welcome in, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for our fourth and final installment of our Life Insurance Awareness Month webinar series. This week, we're going to be talking about planning with a purpose, life insurance for final expenses. For the previous weeks, we have done different topics, or we've done webinars on different topics that pertain around life insurance and the different areas where life insurance serves people. First week, we talked about wealth transferring. When people have a large sum of money, 100,000 or more, it can even be smaller amounts of money where it's been earmarked that when they pass away that it's going to go on to their children or their grandchildren, and that's just what it's there, where they can put that into a life insurance policy and now turn it into a tax-free gift that avoids probate and avoids taxes. So we talked about that, and then there's also some bells and whistles like long-term care riders and things like that. So that was wealth transfer. In week number 2, we talked about what life insurance does that most of us are doing and serving in that market, which is family protection, helping those households maintain their current style of living, their current lifestyle, without having to give anything up, and using life insurance to help maintain that. How to present life insurance in that respect. In week number 3, which was last week, we heard from the president of URL, Steve Clemens, who was talking about business succession planning and how life insurance plays a role in that. As we uncovered last week, URL Insurance Group, we're a family owned organization. And if it wasn't for business succession planning using life insurance, URL would not be here today. Now, here we are today, and we're going to be talking about final expenses. A lot of you in the audience today, you work with URL in different capacities. Maybe life insurance is not your primary market, and that's fine. A lot of you are partnered with URL to do Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. You're serving seniors in different capacities. And I will tell you that one of the easier cross-selling opportunities that is a good money maker is offering final expenses. So let's dive into it. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about we're going to equip you with some effective marketing strategies pertaining and circling around final expense. We're also going to help you understand the emotional and financial importance of final expense planning. Folks, most people don't want to talk about the end, but they know that the end is going to come at some point. Helping them plan and talking about who they love and not leaving behind debt, that is an act of love. It's the final act of love by providing the money to be able to uh, take care of those final expenses. We're also going to talk about how to have a compassionate conversation that leads to providing comfort and dignity to not only the client that you're serving, but also for the family that they're trying to protect, the family that they love. And last but certainly not least, life insurance provides peace of mind, and we're going to show you how final expense provides peace of mind. What are the key features to a final expense life insurance policy? Well, final expense life insurance policy, just in general, it is a whole life insurance policy. Rates never go up, coverage never goes away as long as the premiums are paid. They'll never outlive that coverage as long as the premiums are paid. The final expense plans that you have access through your relationship with us here at URL supersedes anything that these clients, these people that you're serving, see advertised on TV. Colonial Penn, AARP, the list goes on and on. The products that we have are affordable, they're customizable. It's simplified underwriting. What does that mean? It means that the client doesn't have to do a medical exam. They're not required to do that. Most of these final expense plans, in fact, all of our final expense plans, they're not going after medical records. Either the client qualifies for the plan or we can default to a guaranteed issue product, which uh, is going to be better than what they see advertised on TV. What we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish with a final expense policy through us is getting the client an affordable rate where the coverage begins immediately. There isn't this 2 year or 3 year wait. So if they purchase the policy today, they're covered today. It isn't where if they died in the first 2 years, their beneficiary is going to get some of the premiums paid plus a little bit of interest. And a lot of these final expense plans, they do have a rather large threshold for pain, so to speak. They're going to take a lot of risks. So people that are diabetic, people that have had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attacks, cancers, strokes, they're all going to be considered for a day one benefit. A lot of it's based on timelines. So it's fixed benefits, fixed premiums, and a lot of these final expense plans typically pay out a death benefit a claim once they receive the claim. Many times they're paying out that claim within 24 to 48 hours. So it's a very quick process. The final expense is a good relationship builder. It's a good add-on to the other products and services that you provide. And you can take a transaction, a Medicare transaction, and cultivate a relationship by offering final expense. So, what is final expense? Final expense is a life insurance policy where the client gets to name their beneficiary. Some people have this misconception, even the brokers that I work with. It could be you. You get the idea that it just covers funeral expenses or cremation expenses, but it can do a whole lot more. It can replace an income. It can provide and buy the surviving family time where it may not be necessarily going to pay for a funeral or a cremation, or maybe they want to get a larger sum of a benefit. Maybe they get a cremation, $5,000, $7,000 benefit, but then maybe they get a 10 or 15,000 dollar benefit. So let me back up a little second. I kind of minced words. A $5,000 or a $7,000 cremation, somewhere in that ballpark, and then maybe they get a $15,000 benefit. So there's money left over that will allow the family to have cash on hand. Maybe it helps pay the rent for another month or two while they're trying to get things settled. Maybe it pays off some medical bills and other debts. It's simplified issue underwriting. A lot of times the final expense companies are going to give you an underwriting decision right then and there at the point of sale. So it's going to be immediate, and there's not going to be this long drawn out process. Some of the companies, if they have to do any kind of long drawn out underwriting, you're talking maybe a day or two, nothing too significant. And again, they're fixed benefits, fixed rates. So they're not going to get a surprise down the road, 5 years, 10 years down the road that says, hey, you're now 5 years older. You now owe us X amount of money more. No, they don't do that. And it provides security for your client and the family and the loved ones that they love. It provides a tax-free benefit, avoids probate, um, it allows your clients to leave a legacy. It doesn't matter if you have hundreds of millions of dollars in a bank or if you barely have two nickels in your bank account or your client's bank account for that matter. That everybody wants to leave a legacy. Nobody wants to leave behind debt and the stress behind planning a funeral, the stress behind settling an estate. Everybody wants to leave a legacy of love, and it allows the client that you're serving, it allows them to have some dignity and memorialize that person and to provide them with that care and that dignity. Final expense does create a great peace of mind, and it helps remove some of the financial worries and burdens that are left behind when a family member gets that phone call that their loved one passed away. it's going to be one of the worst days of their life. It's going to be some of the worst news. You always hear about that call early in the morning that their mother or father passed away, and that people don't ever forget that. When my grandfather passed away, it was a phone call at the house. We were still awake. It was about 10 o'clock, 10:30. My mom got a phone call from the nursing home that my grandfather had passed away. I'll never forget that. And my mom hung up the phone, and she had tears streaming down her cheeks, and she said, "My dad died." So the final expense plan provides some of that safety net. No, it's not going to relieve that grief. It's not going to relieve that mourning, but it is going to relieve some of those financial worries. It's also going to alleviate some of that emotional stress, because now they know that they can contact the funeral home, because a funeral home doesn't work for free, folks. They're in business to make money, just like you, just like me. And so when they call the funeral home can then provide them the different services, and they know that the money is coming, that they don't have to take care of it. It's a nice feeling when you're talking to a loved one, or a family member that a mother, father, in-laws, whatever it is, and say, what are your plans for your final expenses? And their response is, it's taken care of. It's a great one last way for clients also to leave an expression of love and to provide care for the people that they've left behind. So, how do you position final expense? It really comes down to leaving a legacy. We kind of talked about that before, and that it does honor the client's final wishes, and they can have the final wishes that they want. Some of you on today's call, you may be serving people that are not originally from the United States. Maybe they're from the Dominican Republic. I've talked to people that have clients from Kenya. They live here, they work here in the United States, but when they pass away, they want to go home, and they want to go back to that family homestead, wherever that is. It costs money, and it allows the surviving family, to be able to honor their family members' wishes when they pass away. If they have to repatriate a body somewhere, it costs a ton of money. A final expense policy can do that, and I hope that that gave you some fuel for a sales idea, to have that conversation when you're talking to people that have roots, they have a heritage and ancestry in another country, in another place, where it's going to cost money, and that their final wishes is to be buried back home. So this can provide the funds to do that. You have to talk to people with compassion, empathy, and you have to frame the policy um, as a thoughtful choice, that you're working with them, and that you're going to work with them together to make sure that all their ducks are in a row, so that so that when they pass away, it is a matter of the family contacting you, and then you start the claims process. And it's about creating a legacy of love, a legacy of protection. How do we market this? So there's so many different ways to market final expense. You'll hear me talk about cross-selling to our Medicare clients a lot of times, because it's just an easy transition. The final expense plans are targeting the same Medicare aged people as well. When you're talking to somebody, you want to talk to them with empathy and share some real life stories. Folks, we all know people that have passed away. We know families who have passed away, or have had family members that have passed away, where they didn't have a life insurance policy. It is it is miserable to see these people go through it. And you also have seen the good side of it, where you have families that you've served, and they have life insurance in place, and it's not that the family grieves any less, but it does relieve some of that stress. And for those of you who have been in this business long enough, you will know you'll never forget your very first death claim. And a lot of times when you're handling those death claims, the the person or the people that have been left behind, they will personally thank you. They will say, "Thank you for encouraging my mom to get this life insurance policy. Thank you for encouraging my dad to get this life insurance policy. You have no idea how much this helps." No beneficiaries ever said, "No, thanks, I'm not interested." They all want it, and it helps. And um, so when you're talking to them, it's about telling the stories about how the life insurance plan that you worked with a client help how that helped them. If you don't have any personal stories yet about your life insurance sales stories and how you've helped clients, talk to one of us here at URL, because we have stories that we can share with you, and you can say, you can make use a general story until you have one of your own. You'll want to provide information about funeral costs. I mentioned before that maybe a client of yours may want just to do a cremation. Well, cremations are going to cost between $5,000 and $7,000. That's real money for some of your clients. Some people want the full burial, funeral, the whole pageantry. You know what I'm saying? That can cost anywhere from 10, 12, $15,000 or more. Again, to many people, that is a lot of money and they cannot afford it. So, when you're also talking to people about life insurance, final expense, it is an opportunity for you to build trust and compassion. You realize that when you're helping a client, whether they were a client or not, perhaps they had a family member pass away, they know that you're in the life insurance business and or that you're in the insurance business and they need help with a claim on a policy that you didn't sell. You had no involvement with it whatsoever. You can contact us here at URL and we'll help you with the claims process and at least get that ball rolling for the family. Because at the end of the day, it is about people and who we serve. But that experience that the client is having with you in processing a claim, you have now built a relationship with that person, with that family that can expand your business. And they want other people that they know and that they love to have that same great service, great experience working with you. So, what is your role as an agent, especially with final expense? It's about guiding them with empathy, that by just asking some simple questions and walking them through the different decisions and having a meaningful relationship. The insurance industry in general, doesn't matter if it's life insurance or annuities, long term care, or Medicare or health insurance. It's about this is a relationship driven business. Can people go online and buy life insurance? Sure, they can. Um, but a lot of times they don't. Why? Because they are looking for somebody to ask them and to guide them through. They don't want to make the wrong decision. Sometimes people don't think they have a need. There's a need. Just about everybody out there that you'll come in contact with has a need for final expense life insurance or life insurance in general. So provide a plan that provides them with dignity, and it's a promise of comfort. You're also going to have the opportunity to build trust and compassion and deliver sound advice and position yourself as caring. Do you know how many people that I talk to on a daily basis? You have two roads, two pathways that you can go through. You can go through transaction, sale, make the money, and bolt, or you have the ability to sell, make money, and have the ability to then follow up with that client and have it as a client and not as a not as a transaction. I'm going to tell you that second part there, the second option where you're creating that relationship, being caring, empathetic, that's the way you want to go. It doesn't cost you any money to be nice. It doesn't cost you any money to show some compassion. In fact, it's going to make you money because other people want to introduce you to the people that they know in their circle of influence. Communicating the value, helping clients feel confident and supported. Help them feel confident they're making the right decisions, and help them feel supported that when that day comes, here's my business card. When that day comes, have your son, your daughter, your beneficiary contact me, and I will walk them through the process. One of the toughest things that you and I have to do in this market is having conversations. How do you start conversations? Again, at the beginning of today's presentation, I had mentioned that it's very difficult to talk to somebody and have a conversation with them about death and dying and leaving behind people that you love. How do you have a conversation with them? Well, first and foremost, it is a foregone conclusion that we are all going to die at some time. Don't necessarily want to think about it every waking moment of the day. That's not life. That's not living. But here are some ways to have conversations, because the end is coming. We don't know when, but let's have a plan for it. So, conversation starter number one. There's about 5 of these questions, or conversation starters. Just having that conversation. Do you have a plan in place to help your loved ones with your final expenses? And it again starts the ball rolling. Question number 2. Have you given it much thought about how you want things handled when you pass away? Some could be, "Oh, yeah, I want to be cremated. Oh, I want to be buried. I want to be buried back in my home country." You can follow up with this question. Is your family prepared to cover the costs? Is there money there? Or is the family prepared to cover the cost if something unexpected happens to you? These are all conversation starters. Another question: would it bring you peace of mind knowing that you can tell your family that your final expenses are taken care of? Not saying to have that conversation at the Thanksgiving table, but um, it's a conversation, especially at older family members' birthdays. You know, um, the end is closer. They're past the 50-yard line. Would it bring peace of mind knowing that you can tell your family, "I've taken care of my final expenses. Here's who to call"? Have you ever known someone who didn't have coverage to take care of their final expenses? They may have been asked to contribute money to a GoFundMe page, or they've been asked to contribute money to other family members or cousins, aunts, uncles, whoever it is. Maybe they didn't have it. What was it like? I think all of us, if we've been around a while, we all know stories of what it was like when somebody didn't have money to pay for a funeral. I've worked with brokers for the past 25 years in this industry. I have worked with brokers who have passed away and didn't have life insurance. And I was talking to one of the family members one time. I'm like, "Your dad sold life insurance. What happened?" Well, he talked a big game, but he didn't practice what he preached. They didn't even have the money to put out an obituary just to let him know that he passed away. So, conversation starters. Last one is: what would it mean to you and your family to have a simple, affordable plan in place? Have the conversations with people. Lean up to URL. We're going to walk alongside you to help you look good. We're going to help you provide the tools, the comfort that your clients are needing, and we're going to help your clients. We're going to help you with making money in this business, and we're going to help you get more clients and continue to feed that pipeline. But you have to get out there and you have to start having conversations with people. Let me give you a couple next steps here. One of the things that you can download right by the chat area on this webinar platform, you can download those 5 conversation starter questions. Have those conversations. Have that, memorize them. You don't have to memorize all 5, but have some semblance of what it is, what you're asking them. Have those conversations. The next thing is select some final expense companies. Some of the top sellers that we have in final expense are some of the companies that your clients have heard of, and some companies that your clients have never heard of. Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, yep, your clients have heard of them. Foresters, probably not. Liberty Bankers Life, probably not. A lot of people think Liberty Bankers, they think it's the Liberty Emu guy, right? So it doesn't matter. Regardless of the company or companies that you get partnered with through URL, will help you make sound decisions, wise decisions, so that you can have confident conversations with people, so that you can serve people. That's what final expense is. It's really their last chance at getting life insurance. Let me kind of key in on a little secret. Who is the target audience for a final expense life insurance policy? It's people that have never had life insurance. They've never made enough money to attract a financial planner or a life insurance advisor. They've never made that kind of money before, and they basically are salt of the earth people. A lot of them worked hard. They did everything. They played by the rules. They lived. They raised their family. They paid their bills, but they never really had a large nest egg. That's a final expense client, and they realize that this is probably one of the last chances they're ever going to be able to get a real life insurance policy. You have the ability to help them do that and create that legacy that everybody wants and deserves. I'll take any questions that you have. I love questions, but of course, you can always contact me directly. My number is 717-216-8041. Have those conversations with people. Provide the clients the dignity and the respect that they deserve, the compassion that they deserve. The life insurance industry is a fantastic industry. I don't think many of us woke up one day and said, I want to go into life insurance sales. I know I didn't. But I can tell you that I've been in this business for over 25 years, and it has given me more than I have ever contributed to the industry itself. It is helping people, and that's what it's really all about. So I hope that I gave you some insight into final expense sales and that you'll give it a try. Again, if you have questions, you need guidance, please contact me or the Life Markets team here at URL at 717-216-8041. All right. Not seeing any questions coming in. So either I did a really good job or you're all asleep. Either way, have a great day, everybody. I appreciate your time. We appreciate your partnership here at URL. And one last thing, next Tuesday, which is the 30th of September, we are doing a life insurance sales academy here at URL. It is going to dissect life insurance from top to bottom. We're going to be talking about the products. We're going to be talking about how they work, who the audience is for that particular product. We're going to talk about underwriting. We're going to be talking about case management. We're going to be talking about all of it, and we're gonna wield the we're gonna peel back the layers of the onion. Let's just keep it at that. So hopefully you guys can join us here in Harrisburg at our office here at URL. We have we're going to be doing the sales academy. It's from 10 o'clock in the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to be providing CE credits as well, or CE credit vouchers, as well as lunch. So lunch, learning, CE vouchers. I hope to see you guys all next week. Until next time, have a great day, everybody. Thank you for all that you do, and take care.